Oh yeah. So up next we have Gray Delisle and Michaela Jill Murphy. Welcome them to the stage, everyone, with a big round of applause.
Hello. Oh, it's so loud. Hi. Greetings, peasants. Yes.
I know, she looks so phenomenal. Just looks stunning every time.
I'm punctual. I'm a perfect party guest.
Just swooshing into the room.
Tripping up those stairs.
Guys, oh my gosh, it feels like we have so much space up here, and then we're sitting so close in the middle. This is so funny. Thanks for coming out this lovely Saturday afternoon in Dallas. Yay! And Post, so fun. I'm assuming, I guess we can just yap about whatever we want to do, whatever we want. For those of you that are maybe new, would you like to give a full introduction of who you are and who people might know you as?
Well, jeepers, I've been playing Daphne Blake on Scooby-Doo for like 30 years almost. And I'm Sam from Danny Phantom, and Mandy from the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, and Vicky on the Fairy Odd Parents, and Emily Elizabeth on Clifford. And oh gosh, so many things. And Delilah Briarwood on Critical Role, and I'm Shrinking Ray on Invincible, and Monster Girl too, who sounds just like Emily Elizabeth. And Azula from Avatar: The Last Airbender, my favorite.
Just casually banishing people. I'm Michaela Jill Murphy, also known as Jessie Flower. Jessie Flower was my stage name for like 10 years, so if you're like, why are there two names? I was a kid, and I thought Jessie sounded like a cool name, and my mom said okay. So
I like the name Jessie Flower.
It's cute. It was fun, and I like signed the I in my Jessie, like Jessie, like with a flower. It was a whole little bit. It was fun, but then I like turned 18, and I was like, well, I don't know if this fits anymore. But yeah, I voiced Toph Bayfon in Avatar: The Last Airbender with lovely Gray over here, and then a young Franny in Meet the Robinsons, Chaka in Crossing Groove in Emperor's New School, along with Nase in Platinum End, and Red Shoes / Mirror in Nikkei Goddess of War, which has a whole 3rd anniversary pop-up this weekend, so that was fun. I walked in and I was like, oh, hey, I do things, great. So that was fun. Yeah, and so that's us. And this has been the panel. Thank you so much for that. It's so funny. Normally, I feel like we've had moderators for like most of this year, and this is the first time in a while that it's been just us.
I think they've made a terrible mistake putting us in charge.
Yeah, it's a great idea. Let the blind girl hold the microphone.
As you can't see, I should tell you I'm rolling my eyes.
I'll roll your whole head. We just Agni Pie. So I guess, okay, we get these questions pretty often, so I guess we'll just hit a couple of like the popular ones that people usually ask us, and then, you know, after a little bit, if you guys have any specific ones, you guys are welcome to come up and ask with the mic right here. But people definitely ask us like what our favorite episode was, what our favorite moment during recording was. For me, my favorite episodes are The Library and Tales of Ba Sing Se. I just feel like The Library, first of all, crazy, scary owl, but like very beautiful, and I feel like the lore and like the danger of knowing too much, or like the reason you want to know things. I feel like that comment that Wan Shi Tong says, where he's like, people usually only search for knowledge so that they can use it against other people, and I was like, how much of that is true? Like, you know, how much do we want to know just because we want to know it versus us feeling like we're superior or have this power, whatever. Anyway, I just like that episode a lot. And we watched Toph fail, kind of, for the first time, which is rare, and you're like, oh, shoot, she can't actually do everything, but then she fixes it, and by the time they're at Ember Island, she's like, I figured it out, I can sandbend. Look at this whole freaking city that I sandbend, and here you have, never gonna let that happen again. Yeah, what about you? What's your favorite episode, Miss Gray?
My favorite episode is The Beach. Yeah.
The sharp
I just love
outfit.
watching this. I remember reading the script at home and going, oh my gosh, this is gonna be so fun to try to flirt as Azula, because she can't stop like trying to overtake everything, you know, it's really hard for her to, you know, so together we'll be the strongest couple in the entire world. We'll dominate the earth! You know, yeah, and also like that's a sharp outfit, Chad.
Oh no.
Careful. You could puncture the hull of an Empire-class Fire Nation battleship, leaving thousands to drown at sea, because it's so sharp. awkward.
It's so funny. Yeah, that's, I love the beach chat. All the episodes are good. It's Avatar. That's why we're here.
How did you get the role of Toph? I'm sure people ask you that one.
They do indeed. I started in theater and commercials, and I was in LA, and my mom and I are from Southern Indiana originally, and moved down to LA when I was like 4, and it was like 1999, 2000, and so I started in local theater. And I don't know, I just kind of got the performance bug and then was like, hey, this commercial thing seems interesting. And then, if I'm being honest, a bunch of my teeth fell out and I was just kind of awkward looking at the time. I cut my hair really short and I had a bunch of teeth missing. And my agent was like, hey, we have this new department called voiceover that's not on camera. Do you want to give that a shot for a little bit? So thankfully it kind of just worked out because my mom was a big proponent of reading and staying inside, and not staying inside like that, but like not, sorry, that sounded terrible, of reading and just having...
To the basement with you.
Oh my god. Yeah, literally. And just locking me inside and making me run lines. No. And finding fun things to do inside, like playing dress up or like doing puzzles or games and stuff like that, and not being attached to a screen. And so I got really used to reading really quickly, really young. And that was very helpful when it comes to like reading a script cold, because when you're 6, 7 years old, they're like, hey, we need to be able to just give you something and you got to be able to just read it and go for it. And so that was a helpful thing. And so I started in background stuff, a lot of background stuff for like 4 years, and then
Terry Douglas.
Yes.
She's this ADR director. ADR means additional dialogue recording. It's WALA in movies, and she still calls me. She's like, Gray, I'm so glad that you take my calls. And I'm like, are you kidding?
You're the legend.
She's like, I'm doing the new Superman movie. Would you want to be? I was like, yes, I want to be woman number 5. Of course I do.
Yeah. So that's so funny. But yes, I did a lot of like kids group stuff. Yes. And then I started getting some auditions for some title characters. That's when like the Chaka and the Meet the Robinsons happened, and Meet Brother Bear 2 and all that stuff. And then Avatar came through. Season 1, Miss Mang with her thick pigtails calling Katara a floozy. Apparently just my characters have beef with Katara. Apparently that's the trend. And yeah, I booked that, and at the time they were thinking of making Toph a girl, because before she was supposed to be kind of like a bro-y, like Bolin kind of, whatever, a good counterpart to Sokka probably. And then they were like, hey, what if we made her female, made her this tough little badass? And Giancarlo says that like Mike and Brian apparently were in the booth when I was recording Meg, and they were like, hey, we should have her read for Toph. I feel like she might be kind of what we're looking for. So yeah, they sent me the script a little bit later. I did not know it was for the same show, because back to this, I did not have cable. So I had no idea that it was the same show. And then I booked it and went into the studio. I was like, wait a second. I've been here before. So yeah, just lots of driving around LA and, dropping off headshots, showing up to open calls. Lots of kind of craziness. Back before these things existed and, the internet was, more complicated. We had dial-up, but it's not the same back then.
My son, who I was pregnant with when I met her when she was a little girl,
which was crazy.
He was a Waldorf kid too, like a hippie kid. Like hippie, Waldorf is like a school where they don't let you watch TV, which is where my other 2 kids go as well. So they don't know much about the things that I do either. But my oldest son met Mark Hamill, and because he played Ozai, our dad, and I did a lot of projects with him. And Tex goes, I feel like, is he somebody? Like, I feel like he might be. Is he on something? And I was like, yeah, he's on something pretty big. Yeah. He's like, I could tell that he was like somebody.
Joker here, Cloud Prince of Pride.
What about you?
I have been doing voiceover for quite a while, probably
That's
like
understatement.
at least 15 years or so when I met you. It was just another audition. I had no idea it was going to become the phenomenon that it is. I never thought that I would be with an adult Michaela at some con. Almost every weekend we see each other, which is great because I love her. But
I paid her to say that.
Yeah, I'm always giving her man advice, but I'm like, wait, maybe she shouldn't take man advice from a single woman.
No, but I should, because at this point you have it down. As soon as something's like off, you cut it and it's clean. No, it's good. I feel like you need to be. I linger for far too long. Like, well, maybe, and you're just like, no, that was weird. I'm gone.
No, I was dating a man who lived in Dallas last year we were here, and she was like, what happened with that? And I was like, he hung up on me once, and I was like, oh, no, you know, and he was like, are you breaking up with me later on? And I go, oh yeah, I don't let people treat me that way, but thank you, good luck to you. Anyway, so she was like, wow.
And I just,
As you should.
yes, that's
I
it.
it's like hanging up. What is that? Yeah, not since high school has that ever happened, and this man's like my age, so I was like, no.
There was some video on, TikTok, Instagram, something last night that was like, I fear we have become too soft because we just are like, mental health and trying to be forgiving and trying to whatever, but we've stopped like clapping back and being like, no, that's wrong, goodbye, and then people aren't learning to be better because like
I definitely taught him. He was really handsome, and I think he just had never, he was like, he couldn't believe that I was breaking up with him. He just like, wait a minute, what is going on here? Because I was like, you know what, I live far away, and I'm really busy. And he was like, what is happening right now? Are you breaking up with me? And I was like, yeah, I just don't let people treat me that way, but good luck.
It is. So yeah, anyway, I think that it's...
We follow all the same mental health influencers on Instagram.
That's so funny. Okay, sorry, you were talking about how you got a Zula.
No, I just had no idea what a big deal this was going to be, and I had just played Padme in the Star Wars, the Gendy Tartakovsky Star Wars, the 2D version that was on Cartoon Network. So I was playing Padme, Senator Palpatine, I need to speak with you. And so, and I was like, oh, another princess, I just played a princess, maybe I'll just do something sort of similar. So, because I just didn't know it was going to be such a big deal, but the first speech I had to do was that, for the audition, was that, do the tides command this ship? So I was like, do the tides command this ship? And let's worry less about the tides who've already made up their mind about killing you, and worry more about me, who's still mulling it over. And I just made her not yelling, because I know a lot of the other actors kind of yelled at the troops, but I thought way creepier to be just a quiet villain, like a quiet, like where you're simmering underneath, where all the neighbors would go, wow, they were just quiet. We never realized they were going to murder all these people.
I'm so uncivilized, so soon,
We have somebody who knows the entire script, apparently. Which honestly is a little bit scary. I tried to rewatch the show. Have you made it all the way through with your kids? You said you were watching
My
with your
little
kids.
son came back from school one day. I do like special things with each child. And well, now my oldest is in New York. Now he's a sophomore in college. But I used to do like little, we call it special time, which I was like, that sounds so creepy. Special time. Would you want to have special time with your mother? Anyway, but for my middle son was like, I want our special time to be watching Avatar: The Last Airbender because all my friends say that my mom is a Zula, and so I was like, let's do it, let's watch it. And I was like, this is so good. I love this show. So, and we would do it at night before bedtime. So, and I kept going, let's watch. Do you want to watch another one? And he was like, yes. Oh my gosh. I was like, yeah, let's watch another episode. Let's watch it. Because another episode, I wanted to see it, but and I was like, this is so good. I was like, let's watch another one. We'll do another one. We were doing like 4 a night, and he was like, wow, you're amazing.
That's so funny. But yeah, I try to rewatch it every year and a half or so because you guys know so much. And I feel like if I don't stay brushed up on everything, I like forget the exact like order or something, or maybe I don't remember a line exactly the way it was said or whatever. Because y'all are good. Y'all are good. The research runs deep, and some of you guys, have 20 plus watches already. And I think I've seen it 8 times. I think I'm at 8, yeah, so I'm okay. But like some people are like, yeah, I've been watching it since it came out. I've probably seen it like 30 times. And I'm like, you've got me beat, you know better than I do.
So this is the one time, and I used to disappoint the heck out of the faces of people. Like for 20 years I was doing these cons, and people were like, and what's your, and I'm like, I've never seen that. And they were like, I mean, you might as well just told them that like Santa died or something. So I was like, when I was there, I was like, good me, I'm doing my homework. I know what I'm doing. But of course, I remember the episodes because I have a weird memory for things like that, and I knew all my lines by heart. I knew all my quotes and stuff. So but if people got deep, like I would do Braving the Elements with when Janet, who's a very good friend of mine, I knew her before she was Cora, and when she booked Cora, I was like, oh my god. We're gonna be able to do cons together. We'll share a hotel room and we'll go to dinner every night and it's gonna be so fun. Now I see her every weekend and I'm like, I'm gonna go to dinner by myself and go back to my room and go to sleep. I'm sorry, I love you. I love her so much, but I'm just tired at the end of the night. But she asked me on her podcast, and before she had to tell me what the answers were because people would ask me these questions and I was like, I don't know who that is or what's going on. And so she would actually write out some of my answers for me, and she's so funny.
Sorry, my editor. Literally wise timing. Like just right now. He was like, hey, this right this second. And I was like, okay, just 1 second. Yeah, it's funny because Dante mentions he now has his PhD in Avatar because he also studied a lot from Janet because they did the podcast together.
I felt like the dumb kid in class was like, what did you get for number 4? You know, and just, she was like my smart friend.
So funny. Okay, so yeah, favorite episodes and how we got our parts. Yeah, I feel like those are like the main things. Do you have a favorite line? Is there a favorite line?
Sure about the lines are pretty good, but I also love, my own mother thought I was a monster.
She was right.
Of course, but
It
it
still hurts.
Yeah.
You know. See,
It's like heartbreaking and also hilarious and sad.
it's a very good insight. See, this, I always throw back love, obviously, to Mike and Brian, our lovely creators. But the writing is just so great. Like each line is so multifaceted because it shows your own character, shows your relationship with your parents. It gives insight to like where her trauma potentially comes from. Like there's so much in just one line. It's crazy. So cool. I do, in the library, I like the moment where she's like, there it is. That's what it'll sound like when one of you spots it. You know, that's a classic one. And I also like when they fall into like a black hole and Sokka's like, I can't see anything. And I'm like, oh no, what a nightmare. Shocking. Yeah, it's just so many good one-liners for Toph. Yeah, are there any other popular questions? I feel like those are like the main ones. If you guys want to, I don't know, how long do we have? Does anyone know how long this panel is? It's an hour? Okay, great. Cool.
Okay, well, 2 separate questions. One of your characters on Invincible Grey was, you play Adam Eve's mother, or Samantha's mother. What is it like having Fred Tatasciore as your husband on that show?
I love Fred so much. We've done so many projects together. He's Hulk, and I play a lot of the characters on that show. And anyway, I love him. I didn't even know he played my husband because we were recording separately. So I just played Eve's mom like this, and I just didn't even know who my husband was until just right now.
Well, come on, like, if you want, you probably haven't seen the show, but if you watch the show and everything, he's like, Samantha, like, you can tell it's Fred. Like, Fred has, like, one of those voices where, like, you can pick up in almost an instant. And, one thing, Michaela, are you aware that, in Avatar, before they cast Mick Foley for the Boulder, they wanted to cast Dwayne Johnson for the Boulder, and they never gonna do it. Are you aware of that fact?
Yes, indeed.
How did it felt that, like, in an alternate reality, you got to work with Dwayne Johnson as the whole Boulder thing?
That would have been cool, but I'd also feel like Mick Foley being just kind of the legend he is in like the wrestling realm, I feel like just adds cool layers to the lore of the show. Because like, yeah, it would have been cool, but I feel like there's this whole other like fandom. Anytime there's like a wrestling community and anime, because sometimes there's some crossover. And so there are events that happen either right next to each other or at the same time. And so seeing some of them become Avatar fans and Avatar fans become like wrestling fans has been really fun. And I feel like that wouldn't happen the same way with Dwayne. So
I just met Mick Foley, and we just hit it off because his niece is like a Daphne fan or something. And so I did a video for him, not really knowing who he was, and then later on people were like, he's on Avatar, he's the Boulder. And anyway, it was funny because I found out that later.
Jeepers, pun intended.
No, jeepers, they're just never know when there's some creep or monster around the corner.
you are a great warm-up and practice for me. Anytime I need to like just expand, I sometimes just copy all of the stuff that you've done because it's like a great little warm-up and it's just, it goes all over the place. It's so fun. Hi.
I'm like super nervous. My name's Michelle. I know Google says that Azula would win in a fight between both of y'all, but because y'all are my favorite.
Where?
I don't know, Google's wrong, you know, like 90% of the time, but
Maybe Google's right.
No.
It depends. If you come in, this is the, well, there's multiple things. Anyway, yes.
So I would just want to know what y'all think who would win between y'all two. Because, like, I'm biased with both of y'all. Like, y'all are my favorites. Y'all were my first, like, Avatar members I've met in, like, cons. So for me, it's like, I don't know who would win.
I think Azula would just because I'm psychotic and I wouldn't hesitate to like kill someone. I feel like
There's no hesitation.
If you have a conscience, you're not as good in a fight. Because that's why CEOs are mostly sociopaths. Because if you're not worried about hurting anyone or you don't care who you
just care about
damage,
business.
yeah.
Well, my thing is I think Toph would win if Azula stays on the ground, which she wouldn't, because so if anything's coming from the air, there's kind of not too much I can do with that. about that. And no, she can tell, obviously, like when somebody's like moving or moving, yes, she can kind of guess trajectories, sure. But when it comes to like lightning, that's where it gets iffy. So that's maybe why Google is saying that he's a little weak, because if you're coming from like you jump off a roof or something and like hit me as you're coming down, you know what I mean? Like I think that's where my weakness would be, unfortunately.
You still got my vote though.
Oh, thank you, you're sweet. I do think that like power-wise, but you are crazy. She's crazy. Yeah, but at the end there, like when she's fighting, I don't know. Oh, yeah, that's crazy. Like I'm thinking of final episode or Azula.
I tried to murder my best friend, so
Yeah.
I lit her tightrope on fire. So
Crazy.
Maybe therapy first and then a fight.
Yeah, therapy. You're right though. There's no conscience. Hello, friend. How are you?
I think Toph would just earthbound Azula into the ground and just have a tombstone.
If I'm fast enough,
what's happening here? Why is everyone on your side?
Anyway, hello. Of course, I'm a longtime fan, and one big reason why I love the show is just how philosophical it can get. And so, in addition to that, like I've also been finding that books are a really great way of getting to know somebody, and I've been loving like getting to read books, you know, like philosophical, psychological, stuff like that. But it doesn't have to be. I just wanted to ask you to, like, if you have any favorite books or book recommendations.
I'm reading a book right now called The Goldfinch by a woman named Donna Tartt. It's really good. It's so funny because my friend got it for me when I was pregnant with my 11-year-old son, and she brought it to the hospital because I was on bed rest forever. I was really sick. I had preeclampsia, if anybody knows what that is. Anyway, so I was like stuck at the hospital, and she's like, "Here's a good book," and it was kind of thick, and it sat on my shelf until like he's 11 years old now, and it was funny because I kept joking because the author's name is Donna Tartt, and I was like, "I'm Donna Tartt reading that real soon. I'm Donna Tartt," you know. Anyway. So anyway, and now I really am reading it because I sat next to my friend on a plane the other day, and he was reading it. And he's like, "This book is so good," and I was like, "That book's been sitting on my bedside table for 11 years." Anyway, so it's very good. I recommend. So The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt. Donna Tartt reads it too.
I've held books before, and I gotta tell you, it doesn't exactly do it for me. Gosh, it's been a second since I read something. I was trying my darndest to get through like Atomic Habits earlier this year, and it just, I don't know, man. It's hit or miss with like the mental health, like self-helpy books, because sometimes it just feels like I'm reading a manual, and I'm like, what are we doing here?
Yep.
The last time I read something like for fun, this is tragic because my brain has become so social media shallow. I just can't even think, honestly. There's this one series, it's called the Lux series, it's a very good copy. I kind of think of it as a crossover between Bridgerton and Gossip Girl. It's like New York in like the late 1800s, and I'm super into it. I love it. There's like drama between like households and big dresses and whatever. It's very not tough of me, but that series was really fun, and that's the last like for fun series. And then everything else, like there's a couple of screenwriting books, and then there's this one like business, like be your own like MBA or something, which is basically just like business tips or whatever. And after just boring things that I like haven't finished.
Books on tape though, because there's so much traffic in Los Angeles. I read like a book every week because I'm always in traffic.
How do you stay focused on that? Because I'll put it on and be like, all right, I'm gonna think of 3 other things, and then my brain is so loud, and then I'm like, crap, this like freaking tape was playing.
Good if it's good. You know, I'm gonna send you some books because I got some good books.
Okay, I think I have to really like the person who's reading the book, saying, talking, whatever, because I just zone out so quickly, and I just start thinking about. I like it. I'll notice like the car, somebody's license plate will be funny, and then I like somebody's outfit, like they're getting ready in the car, and then I'm like, I wonder where they're going, and then I think about like the Oscars, and I'm like, I wonder if I'll win one day, and then I'm like, oh crap, I forgot I was supposed to be listening to this podcast. It's just,
I have a lot of crappy podcasts that I listen to, like true crime stuff, but I'm like, and I think, okay, if you're gonna intake this garbage, then you've got to take in something good too. Like it's just like I'm with my kids. I'm like, if you eat, you know, an Oreo, you should also have an apple. Balance it out, you know. So I love YouTube videos of people getting arrested, which is terrible. It's terrible. But I was thinking, especially the sovereign citizens. Oh my God, it's like hilarious because I'm just like, oh, like I know my rights. It's like, no, you don't. You don't. You're you're being an asshole.
So you are Azula, what? Watching people get
But it's
aggressive.
also, it's a stress reliever. My friend was like, why do you watch? I was like, I don't know, I feel like it lets off my stress. When I'm stressed, I watch those, and I think it's because, like, some kind of control's being taken, and also I feel like, good thing I'm not being arrested. That's what I'm thinking.
I'm done.
But the other day I was watching one, and this lady's like, oh my gosh, my dog got out. My dog's crazy. Azula! Calling her dog was named Azula. I was like, oh my god, my worlds are colliding.
I'm sorry. Hopefully that answered your question.
It did. It did. Amazing answers. Thank you both.
Thank you.
One of my best friend's cats is named Azula.
Oh my god,
There's
there's a lot of Azula cats. There's some daughters named Azula, which I'm like,
That's a little,
okay.
I was like, that's a choice. That's a choice. Hello, I like your duck shirt. Big fan.
Everybody does, and as a lifelong listener of audiobooks, I can tell you that the narrator can make or break an audiobook.
And being a voice actor, depending on how I feel about that person, there's one person who I don't like who does a lot of audiobooks, and I'm like, who is it? This is the guy again. And yeah, I put on a book, and I was like, oh no, it's my nemesis. Anyway.
Okay, obviously you guys have done a lot of projects. Was there ever a moment when you got a script and you wanted to like do something differently or like improv a line or like anything like that? And you just did it or something?
I feel like I rarely am like, whoa, great script. I ended up majoring in screenwriting in undergrad, so I think I became a lot pickier after that because I ended up reading so much, and because I feel like as a kid, I think there's only so much acting you can do. Like most kid actors you see are just authentically themselves, and they're just comfortable reacting in real time in whatever scenario they're in. I don't think there's only a couple who I've met who are like, whoa, they're really transforming into a totally different person. It's really like an honest, acting that you're getting. And so I feel like I was only cast in things that were written really well because then I acted a lot better because the writing was good. And so I feel like I look back at things and I was like, dang, that was a really good movie, that was a really good show, and I just assumed like most things were written well because again, I didn't have cable and we didn't go to the movies a lot because it was expensive, and so I then just realized like, oh no, that's not the case. There's a lot of stuff that's actually quite meh. And so yes, I'm starting to get better about having fun with things in the audition because for a while I was like, oh, I have to be like this perfect little package of an audition that like they're gonna love it and it'll just sound perfect. And yeah, now I literally this year, it's finally like, oh, if they're listening to 200 auditions this afternoon, they don't, what? There's gonna be 200 perfect, polished, and oh, it sounds great. I should just have fun. You should just have fun. And if a little voice comes to mind, or if this funny little aside or a little thing, throw it in there. And it's like, if they don't like it, who cares? I need to make sure I'm having fun, and then like the right people will also enjoy it if you're having fun. And so yeah, I feel like I've finally started to have more fun with auditions because I just was so overthinking with like, oh, and like the delivery, and maybe is my volume, and is the kind of voice I'm using, just too much thought. So now I'm having a lot more fun, and yes, I want to change things all the time. So I don't know about you.
I'm a very misbehaved auditioner because I just have my own ideas, and I also I entered at a casting place, and I realized, like you said, you'll hear so many of the same, and everyone's really good. So unless someone does something a little different that stands out, or says something funny, or something to get your attention, where you're like, there was one, it was a Marshalls commercial, and at the end of it, it's like, so the person said, so I did what anyone would do. I went to Marshalls or something like that. But Tress McNeil, who I do The Simpsons with, I'm Martin Prince in The Simpsons, and I'm also Sherry and Terry on The Simpsons. Lisa, you're so weird. But anyway, Tress McNeil is a genius, and I was interning. I had just moved to LA, and everyone was really good, but Tress McNeil goes, so I did what anyone would do. I shot him. It was like her husband. He didn't pick out a good outfit. Anyway, it was, that's not what everyone should do. But the casting person was like, who do you think is best? And I was like, everyone was amazing. I guess that funny lady that said the shot. I mean, she goes, that's Tress. She's a pro. She's great. Let's pick her. So we picked her. And so I always learned, like, also if they give you a prototype, if anyone's doing some auditions out there, if they give you, like, we were looking for like this kind of type, everyone's gonna do that voice. So just do something that sort of fits with that, but it's not that. Because they would go like, we want a Fran Drescher type. And then you listen to 20,000 auditions, and
Have you ever had to deal with this where you got an audition? This happened to me this year, and they say like looking for like a grade and they're looking for like a Toff Bay Fall Michaela Jordan. I didn't book it, and I was like, what is going on? I was like, did I? And see, that's where the mind go other children. That's where like the mind trip comes in because I'm like, do I suck at that? What's happening right
They
now?
were saying like the 3 stages of Hollywood. It's like it's like who is Michaela Jill Murphy? Get me a Michaela Jill Murphy. Get me a Michaela Jill Murphy type. Who is Michaela Jill Murphy?
Yeah, it's the cycle.
I should use my own name.
No, that's okay because I experienced that this year, and I was like, oh come on! I gave them like 2 ways. I gave one that was a little different, like just in case they wanted something a little nuanced, and then one that was like just tough sounding, and I was like, really?
Dolly Parton lost it. Dolly Parton looked like a mask, so.
Yeah, it's just crazy. So those funny moments. Anyway, sorry. Once again, I hope that this answered your question.
No, it did. Thank you.
We're being long-winded because why not? We have an hour up here.
Avatar was a really big part of my childhood, but as I got older, I got more into anime, and I was wondering if you had any favorite animes or if you would watch anime.
I've never seen an anime in my entire
You don't have time.
But I have never. And my assistant Annika, who goes everywhere with me every weekend, is like the biggest anime fan, and she'll be like, "Oh my god, blah, 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 Chainsaw Man," blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, "I don't know what you're talking about." And so we'll have dinner with people that she's like, you know, and afterward I'm like, I don't even know who that is. So I've never seen. No, I've never seen it.
Avatar is not an anime though.
What is? Oh no, they say Avatar is
It's like a Western anime. It's like a gateway anime. It's not really an anime.
I'm trying to help.
But I was also in some Studio Ghibli movies, which those are anime. So I played the ant in when Marty was there, and I loved that part. That was such a great part. And then I also was the mom in Only Yesterday.
You were also in Batman Ninja.
Oh yeah, Batman.
Oh, yeah, that's an anime.
There's like Catwoman, meow.
That's the same with the non-union Houston cast for the
They
second
did? Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, you'll find Gray is so busy, and then I think you'll actually find that a lot of people who are in things as much as she is, like literally rarely watch anything.
And also
there's just
because
no
we're a
time.
non-media household, like I don't let my kids watch that much. We are mostly reading, and like we play a lot of games. We have a whole big cabinet full of board games, and
There's time for anime for them later. They can watch TV in college.
We did watch K-pop Demon Hunters though, because Annika, my sister, was like, you have to show the kids that, and they did.
It's fun. Yeah, I love it too. I had like an anime homework day with a friend of mine where I was like, okay, this was like 2 years ago. 2 years ago? 3 years ago? Yeah. And it was when I started coming to these, and I was just meeting so many people from all these, and I was like, okay, I have to I can't watch all of these to completion. But I was like, okay, Anthony's my friend. We've been friends since high school. He's a massive anime fan. And I was like, you need to sit me down, tell me what I need to watch, and let's watch 1 to 2 episodes for like 8 hours and just go through as much as possible. And so we hit My Hero and Demon Slayer and Chainsaw and One Piece and Naruto, and like we just like went down a list, and I watched 1 to 2 episodes of as much as possible, and just so I could kind of get a reference point. And I definitely do like the darker stuff, like the Death Note and Demon Slayer stuff. Fun, very fun. I'm into it. And so that's why I was happy I got to be in Platinum End. I know it's 1 season and a little hit or miss on people liking it, especially towards the end. But that's okay because it's from the creators of Death Note. So I was like, oh, it's gonna be darker. At least it just was a fun thing to work on. But yeah, I haven't finished anything to the end. But that's where I'm at. I'm 1 to 2 episodes into all of them. But that's it.
We have seen a lot of the Studio Ghibli movies. Yeah, we've seen Housemaid Castle.
Yeah. I've seen those.
Thank you so much. You both are so talented.
I like your hair. It's very earthbender.
I'm a musician and a songwriter, and if anyone follows me on any streaming platform at all, just show me your phone. You don't even have to wait in line. There's not much of a line right now, but just show me. And I have these Azula stickers that you can have for free. They're big. They're really big, and they're designed by my son. He's an artist. So
Gray is an incredible singer, ladies and gents. She's amazing.
she's a great singer. Oh yeah, my son was the voice of Lincoln Loud on Loud House for 2 seasons.
So funny. Hello, how are you?
I'm also a voice actor, and I kind of had a question about. I had an experience recently with an audition where I put it in, they loved the voice, that was great. I got cast, I was put in the game. But have you guys ever made a decision with the character where you're like recording and then you're like, I should. Where I started out with a really like low grumbly voice, and then I was like, I should have gone that low. And they want to keep that.
I feel like there was a video game. I can't remember what exactly, but I definitely did like a textured, like kind of forced texture, because my voice is very clear and I can do like the squeaky stuff and it's really easy. But I tried to like do it this or whatever, and I was like, oh shoot, like oh no. Thankfully it wasn't too long, but like I definitely got to the end of the session and I was like, I need to only send in stuff that I actually can do for like 6 hours in a row. Yeah, anything high pitched, no problem, but anything texture wise, I just can't. It's totally great on here. And some people are so good at putting it on, and I'm just like, how do you add that in there without that scratching up your throat? Because there's just nothing. And so maybe as I get older too, like maybe when I get to like 60, I don't know, then I'll have some texture, but yeah, maybe before that. But just, I don't know. What about you?
I play Lana on the Loud House, you know, and but she only has like 10 lines an episode, but and I play Lola on the Loud House, her sister, so she talks a lot. And I play Cheryl, the little lady in the office, you know, and I play Scoots, and I play Mrs. Bernardo, the acting teacher, and I play Coach Cake, the one who's like, do some sit-ups. Anyway, but I always thought that I could do that kind of voice, because I thought, well, but then it was a show called Shark Dog that's on Nickelodeon, and I just did the pilot, and usually you're excited when a pilot gets picked up, but this one time I was like, oh no, I did, because I played the boy in it, and I was talking like this, but I was talking like this for like, and then it was all the lines in the whole episode, and I was thinking, oh no, and I was like, well, it won't get picked up. What are the chances it's going to get picked up? And then they're like, guess what? Shark Dog got picked up. And I was like, well, I need to talk to you because I can't play that character. So I quit. They got a real little boy to do it. But I played the mom still. So I thought I lost the whole show, but I was like, oh yeah, I played the mom. And she's like, got 5 lines an episode. Easy peasy.
Do you ever like tweak the voice as the show goes on and hope that they don't notice?
They always play the reference for you to make it like it's but there are sometimes where like in the beginning when I was playing Mandy, it sounded something, you know, and then it just like Vicky sounded like this when she first started the show, and then by the end I was just yelling all the time. So I don't know how it morphed into that, but yeah. And also Daphne got snarkier and snarkier as I played her. So. Yeah. Thanks. Congratulations on your jobs, dude.
Hi, I was wondering if there were any moments in recording where somebody like totally improv'd and it made it into the final cut.
Is your cosplay from Dun Dun Dun?
Yes, ma'am.
It's so cute.
Thank you.
Abby,
I need to do my day with Anthony.
The main reason I know that is because I think it's Abby and Ryan Cole, right? Wasn't that with Abby? I can't remember. But Abby Trott is this character, the English dub, and we did a little cute show earlier this year, and so she was doing promo for this, and so I saw this outfit and I was like, it's so cute. Not in Avatar. A lot of people ask if any of like the funny lines and stuff were improv. For me, anyway, it was all very much pre-written. All the blind jokes, it was all in there. There might have been like some fight sequence stuff, and like the Melon Lord, like maniacal laughter. You know, they couldn't really script that exactly, but some of Sokka's crash outs, you know, his cactus juice trip, I think there was some in there, but like other stuff for anime, they're like very picky about like the translation, so you kind of have to stick to it. You can say something before you record, which I often do, speaking of well-written scripts. I'm like, this doesn't make sense. We shouldn't say it this way. We should change the English because the English is not Englishing. And so in video games, though, I think there's a little bit more elbow room, depending on like how big it is. If it's like Genshin Impact, they're gonna be like, this is the line, but if it's something smaller, newer, whatever, I think they want people to play a little bit more because they're like trying to build the world, and so they're like, hey, if you have ideas, like, give it to me. So, I don't know, do you improv a lot? I feel like you probably do, because you're you.
There was a show I did with Amy Poehler called The Mighty Bee, and I played Portia, this like girl who's like kind of like whatever, message, just like a jerk. And Amy would have us she would go, let's do it as written, and then let's do a whole take, just all improv, whatever it's called. So I did a ton of improv that. And then also when I was Vicky on Fairly Odd Parents, there's a Steely Dan, that's the band. There's a Steely Dan song called Ricky Don't Lose That Number. And I was Vicky was dating a guy named Ricky at the end, and she gave him her phone number at the end, so he was walking away, and I was like, Ricky, don't lose that number! You don't gotta call nobody else! Send it out to the letter to yourself! Anyway, so...
That's so funny though. Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
We gotta do something for the parents.
Thank you.
Nice hat, Twinkle Toes.
Oh, thank you. Hi, hello. As voice actors, do you guys ever have, oh, thank you. Do you guys have the opportunity, or have you gotten the opportunity to play D&D? You had mentioned Critical Role, and as voice actors, I was just wondering, have you guys had that, have you had any D&D experience?
Have you guys had any, what was the last part of that sentence?
Dungeons and Dragons?
D&D experience, gotcha.
Yes.
I have played once, I believe, and then I played the Avatar, good English, the Avatar tabletop game, the like Avatar Legends, kind of that way. I played that also once, so I've done 2 tabletop experiences in my whole life, I think. And the issue is, and this is a very privileged thing to say for sure, I grew up in theater, and loving theater first, that's where I got started, and I was very grateful to start in like local community theater and then in high school and college, and I just, every time I do a tabletop game, I'm like, why are we not performing this? I was like, we're sitting down, and I was like, let's just go be in a musical, let's go be in a play, why am I sitting at this table? So I just like, I think I like to go do it, that's why I think I'm an actor, because I'm like, oh, that idea, that fun story, cool, let's go film it. Let's go put it on stage. But like, obviously for getting started, especially if you're in a city where like there's not a lot, like if you're not in New York or LA, yeah, D&D makes a ton of sense, and I probably would have like a lot more fun. But since I got to grow up in LA, where it's like, oh, you have this idea of a story, oh, you probably pitch it somewhere, and somebody could probably make it for you. I then feel like restrained by the table. And I know people do dress up and then like they get more into it, and I haven't done like a full one of those where people are like fully in like outfits and like actually get up and move and do things. Like I've heard tales of these fun games happening, but I've only experienced like it was very like posh. Everyone was just seated making their moves, and I was like, I feel like I want to get up and be more active. So I don't know, maybe there's a future where I can do a game where it's more active physically, and people are like up doing things and like yelling at each other across the table, you know, that sort of thing. I'd be more into that. Catan has gotten very heated. I've done a couple rounds of Catan. Oh my gosh, their accents go crazy. We're screaming about sheep. It's great. So, you know, I've got it in me. What about you? Have you done any D&D stuff?
Being a part of Critical Role, they had me try to do it. They were doing this other offshoot show, and I got fitted for a costume and everything. I tried to teach me how to play it, and I was terrible at it. Because I'm so bossy that I kept introducing these new things. I'm like, no, you're not the demon. I mean, you're not the dungeon master. You're not the dungeon master. You have to go with whatever's already in there. And so
You are the dungeon master. At heart, you are.
Yes. Mrs. Hathaway, you should have feared me more. Yeah.
Yes.
So, that's all that was. But my 11-year-old, when he went to camp, some boys started playing it there, and he was playing it there. And he was like, I want to start playing that with my friends. And I thought it would be great because most of my most creative friends who are now like, one of my friends, Mark Andrews, who's like a huge monkey buck at Pixar now, but when we were in college, that's all he did was play D&D. Like every week they would play D&D, and he had to plan his wedding around it because they had this D&D game that happened every week, you know, and he ended up directing Brave for Pixar, and he's a brilliant animator, so it served him.
Thank you for your answer. Fantastic, thank you.
You can, it won't break. You can
It's
adjust.
okay, I'll squat. I did follow you on Spotify.
Go by my table. I'll grab you a sticker after this. Yeah, I'm gonna be right at my table right after this. So come on by. I'll give you guys a free sticker.
But I was also going to ask if there was anyone specific, either in Avatar or in any projects you've done, that you like doing scenes with the most.
That you what, sorry?
Like doing scenes with the most. In anything, I love working with Tom Kenny. He's one of my he's a very close personal friend too, and his wife Jill. Jill threw me my baby shower, and they're the only people I really in voiceover that I actually hang out with a lot, like at home. But yeah,
It's fine. I won't take it personally. It's okay. It's fine.
We've hung out at my house like once. We had a great time. She bought a bunch of my furniture when I moved.
I did. I was like, I can always use a bit more gray in my life. Tom Kenny, it's funny. What was I recording? Was I doing remember his new school, I can't remember, but I met Tom in like a lobby. There was like that little studio on, it was like Ventura. It was past Laurel Canyon.
Screen Music,
maybe.
Studio.
Yeah. Yes, it was Screen Music. And I remember we were just like talking, and he was like, oh yes, like I'm doing voiceover. I was like, oh, like I'm here for voiceover too, cool. And I was like, what do you do? He's like, oh, like I voice SpongeBob, and I didn't have cable, but I knew what it was, and so I was just like, oh, that's cool. I think I have lots of friends who like watch that. That's awesome. I'm like 8 years old, and I was like, I actually have a tiny little notebook. Do you mind signing a couple pieces of paper just like for my friends? Yeah, so
He's a musician too, so my band opens for his band a lot. So that's fun.
so funny. I don't have nearly as much fun experience because it was mostly just background, like loop group stuff. It's like groups of like 8 to 10 kids. It was fun though because Allison Stoner was in a lot of the similar loop groups, and so watching her do her Mike's Super Short Show and then going into do like the Camp Rock stuff, like, and then she'd be like back in a loop group and we'd just be doing like background voices, and I'd be like, that's cool. So that was like a fun thing. In Avatar specifically, I did really like when you came in because I thought it was so funny because you'd be so sweet and so nice and then so evil like 2 seconds later, and I was like, oh, that's so crazy. But yeah, you and then Dante, we all had a slight crush on Zuko/Dante for a second. So he would like show up late with like his motorcycle helmet under his arm and sometimes and just be like, sorry I'm late. And I was like, okay, relax. Like, so that was always like a fun little moment. I really liked the crew of Avatar, actually. Like, our director, Andrea Romano, was such a sweetheart and so good at her job. I just liked talking to her. She was so cool. And then our sound guy, oh my gosh, what's his name? Ace? No. Oh, so much time has passed. Justin? Yes, there it is. I was like, that's not right. Justin, it was always just so kind. I remember his hair and like his, I don't know, just like the crew was so cool. Anytime Mike and Brian were there, I was like, oh, the creators of the show are here to watch us today. Yeah, I always liked it when they were in studio. So yeah, I don't know, I kind of liked it when the crew was around.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay, where are we at time-wise? Oh, we're chilling. Okay, cool. Yeah, we got like 10-ish minutes left. Do we have any like 1 or 2 final questions? Fine, if not, we can yap. We got a couple more little things. Did you have one more?
You mentioned Jill Talley a couple minutes ago, and I forgot, Jill Talley is your mom on the Loud House. And also you mentioned Padme earlier. You also voiced Ventress too, and both Padme and Ventress are voiced by one of your mild sisters. Like Nika is Ventress, and Kat Tabor is Padme, and you also previously played those 2 roles as well, so it's almost like some sort of a connection.
I love Nika so much too. We're good friends, and I played all the female roles on that show. I played Padme, Shakti, Asajj Ventress. There was another one, I can't remember her name, but she sort of had a King Tut type thing on her head, but anyway. So a lot of Lakshmi, I don't know, anyway, I can't remember, but it was.
Well, just to feel like a formal wrap-up of the interview, thank you so much for coming, and before we go, you've done so much. You've done so much singing, so much voice acting stuff. What are you looking forward to? Are you like, is there a certain idea for an album? Is there a role that you still have like a dream to do? Is there something kind of like on the horizon that you're like, man, it'd be really cool to do this one day? And like, what is that?
I have 6 albums recorded that I'm going to be putting out.
They're not out yet.
They're not out.
Oh, they're
yet.
recorded and not
they're
out
recorded
yet.
and not out yet. I know.
6?
I know. And my publicist was like, Ray, you can't put out more than 2 albums a year. And I was like, okay, well, I'll do one. But now I'm like, well, I have the next 6 years of my life planned out. I'm looking
That's
forward.
crazy.
And I also met this man named Les Green, who's like an incredible, he was on American Idol very briefly, but he's got this incredible voice. He played Little Richard's voice in the Elvis movie that came out, so he's just got this incredible Little Richard persona. He does cartwheels and flips on the stage and everything, and I've been writing songs for him, and oh my god, they're so good, especially hearing him sing them. So next year his record will be out, and it's Les Green, don't forget. So now we're gonna do a record together. It's gonna be all my songs, so it'll be gray and green. So
is music like where your heart
that's
really
where my
is?
real love is. Even though I love doing voiceover stuff and I love doing cartoons, and also I wouldn't be able to pay for my albums if it wasn't for cartoons. So
Yeah.
I kids doing voices too, but songwriting I do all day long. It's my obsession.
That's the obsession. Very cool. And
Special interest.
to answer my own question
I was
for
gonna,
fun.
I was just to return the favor. It'd be funny. I was just like, anyway, so well, thank you.
Which we could do. I mean,
You
hey,
look
you are
gorgeous.
so gorgeous. It's funny that you say that. I do not have 6 albums recorded, but I also love music and have been singing a lot more. I feel like for some reason it's always been the thing that's been the most scary to me to share and to do because it feels like the most vulnerable, and that's how you know you care about it. Because everything else I could share and be like, it might not be my best, but that's okay. Like I'll like get better and whatever. But like anything song related, music related, I'm like, oh, I don't know if it's good enough. Yeah, it's very raw. And so I've been better this year about just like posting, more freely and not like being too hypercritical, because I feel you. I feel like the notes apps and like the voice memos, whatever, are just so chock full, and I just haven't finished any of them. And so next year I would really like to do that. I've liked, kind of getting back into voice acting, but like the industry's changed a lot too from when I was a kid, and navigating it all. There's a lot, like it's always been networky, but I feel like it's like even more so now just because it's so saturated, and I'm not good at that. I'm not good at that, and being just like the people person that's like, oh John, like I saw you at the thing last week, how you been? What do you, like I'm just so not good at being that person, and a lot of people are, and they're booking more roles than I am. And so I'm like, do I love voice acting that much where I gotta like just really give like so much of my time and energy? And like that little voice, that little gut feeling like that tells you that you like want to do something, or there's this dream, or like you should be working on something that you've been avoiding because it's going to be like difficult. That's what happens whenever I think about that versus like taking a second and just kind of like working on creating music.
But it was people network like very like it's just not authentically, like you can tell like they're calling you and they're like, how are you? What do you do? So anyway, and then my grandma used to say the third thing that people bring up is the real reason that they called. So if somebody gives me like some sort of project, like if they write to me through Instagram or something and it's always about something that they want me to do or something they want, I stopped opening their messages because I'm like, no, you're always a job. I don't want to do that all the time. I accidentally opened a thing that I'd been ignoring for like 7 months, and I was like, because I would see that they saw it, and I was like, I've been pretending to ignore that for 7 months.
That's so funny. Yeah, well, I mean, I guess that's a good takeaway from the whole thing is just like focusing on just hanging out with and working with people who you like and who you naturally like get along with and who you gravitate towards. Like, doesn't help to force
stuff. Make your own stuff. Like, everybody's always like, will you cast me in this? Well, can I be in this with you? Can you tell them about me? And I'm just like, you make something and then people will talk to you, So I don't know, I always tell people like, make your own stuff because then nobody can tell you no.
There's also a lot more room for it now, too. I mean, yes, it's oversaturated, but also the industry's very weird. We've got a lot of AI stuff. Like Warner Brothers is kind of like for sale right now, ? Like there's a lot of just...
Like, when's the next Scooby thing? And I'm like, I don't know. And I thought that they had recast for a while, but then I was like, oh no, they just haven't made another Scooby thing.
So there's room to like just, I think people are definitely in need of like original content. People are missing like new stories instead of just live action remakes and like sequel numbers.
Like Hell of a Boss and Has-Been Hotel. That creator's like this young woman who just made her own stuff. And then the networks came crawling to her, so I'm so proud of her.
Yeah, it's so cool to just see that. So yeah, there's room. So yeah, make your own things and work with the people you like. Work with your friends. Make stuff with your friends. Thank you guys so much. Can I take one get a sticker?
To another fluff.